very pleased. Long time to get there, like I say, a lot of years. But no, I'm over the moon with the achievement. But the next one is to play more games and maybe try and get to 700.
So just looking back to the start of your career now, coming through Middlesbrough's academy, there's a couple of players, yourself, like Lee Cattermole, James Morrison. Just give us some of your memories of coming through.
It's all gone so quick. It's I was thinking about the other day, but I still remember them games. The young lads coming through, because I was a little bit older then, so I was one of the first to come through. But you look back then, we were for a couple of years, early Steve McLaren era. We brought a lot of kids through the academy, not just numbers, obviously quality players as well, which obviously saved the club a lot of money. But they were good times. I think we had a good mix of the squad of young lads, and like I said, coming from the academy, mixed in with the older experience. Superstar, shall we say? There was a few top players in that squad, but we had a really good team, and like I say, we credit to Steve McLaren for giving the young players the chance. And
credit to Dave Parnaby as well, who obviously had a big part to play in bringing yourself and some of those other lads through.
Yeah, not only Dave, Mark Proctor, was here for a lot of years, and like I say, Steve McLaren obviously was likes youth players. He's had it United, and like I say, he liked to work with young players. He said it at Derby, so for us to hear that when he first came in, he wanted to look at the academy, was it's music to your ears. You're a young player, you want to impress, and straight away you could see the changes he was making. 6 or 7 of us were training with the first team for nearly a year, 18 months before we even probably played a game. So just to get used to the environment, the surroundings of being around the big players, and like I say, I love my time then when we were younger, because like I say, all you need in football, you need that little bit of luck and a chance. And
that breakthrough, you'd come playing away at Ipswich.
Yeah.
It wasn't the result that we wanted, but that must have been an incredible occasion for you, and one that you still remember.
Oh yeah, brilliant. I mean, to be honest, I remember travelling to the game, and my dad, who goes to all the games, I said to him, this game, no point travelling all the way to Ipswich. I'm not going to be involved. I'm still a young player, I'm probably 17th, 18th man it was at the time, so I'm probably going for the experience. And we kept the ground, and then like I say, Steve McLaren names the team, I'm starting. So my dad wasn't happy about that one, but it wasn't the result we wanted. Like I say, it was we lost 1-0, but I think we played very well on the night. For me, it was it was unbelievable to play with some of the players I grew up watching, and like I say, it wasn't the result, but we can't take away it was my first team debut.
Making that 600th career appearance against Sunderland is quite fitting in a way, because going on loan up the road was what really kick-started your career, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I say, I got a chance early on with 17, 18, but I was still only quite small and skinny at that time, so I needed a lot of building up a little bit, and Steve McLaren was quite good how he used us. He played me a couple of games, leave me out, put me on a couple of times as sub maybe, and it was just about gaining that experience and getting used to first team football. But at the time the team was a bit settled, and I think it was time for me. I'd probably outgrown the reserves a little bit, and I needed that little bit of a push, and league football was the best way. And I went to a really good team at the time, which suited the way I played under Mick McCarthy. And because I love my time there. I think I was there for a month and a half, nearly 2 months. So it was great learning curve for me to play in front of big crowds. I was only used to playing in reserve, at Billingham. So it was great. I loved it, and like I say, it got me ready for when I came back into the first team here.
When you did come back, it wasn't long before we were heading to Cardiff for an incredible day. You didn't get on the pitch that day, but an incredible occasion nonetheless. What are your memories of that?
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, I remember come back on loan. I think we played Tottenham away in one of the quarterfinal. I think it was. I was on for the second half, so I played a part in that, and I loved it. And like I said, just to be involved on the day itself in Cardiff was good for me, because there was a lot of lads who played nearly every game and weren't even on the bench in that final. People tend to forget, and it was obviously difficult. I had to hide my excitement a little bit from players, young players. I think Andrew Davis was one, Jonathan Green and Colin Cooper, if I remember rightly. Them lads had done a lot to get to the final, and lucky they had to miss out. But a great occasion for the club. Like I say, it was a nervy game late on. Like I say, we were under pressure, but Big Schwartz pulled some great saves off, and like I say, afterwards the parade and all them, probably took it for granted at the time, but looking back, it was unbelievable scenes, Linthorpe Road and along them ways. So I remember it like it was, like I say, like it was yesterday.
And that day really kick-started Boro's European adventures, one of the best spells that this club's ever had, and you became more and more involved as the seasons went on. Yeah,
I think that was quite a big breakthrough that season. When I come back, I played a few games towards the end of the season. Like I said, I was involved in the squad a lot more than I was before I went on loan, and that next season, I went away that summer and thought, next season's my big season. I need to kick on. We had some really good players. Bolo's ending signed permanently, so I knew I was up for a fight straight away in that position. But probably a bit of luck on my side, a little bit of bad luck on another player's side was Mendieta got an injury early on in the season, and give a shift to Bolo's ending one in the middle. And I naturally went on to the left wing, and I think it worked great for us. Ray Parlour went out to the right, and so the balance was really good in the team. And like I say, Bolo played really well in the middle. I don't think he played there a lot in his career, but he certainly took to it really well, and he was good for me. Give me a lot of service and feeding the ball out to me. So it was a big season, big breakthrough season. But I knew I had to get in amongst the team that in that season, because I was heading for 19-20, and you want to be playing around about then. And like I say, a little bit of luck on my side, a little bit of bad luck on Mendieta's, but it was a chance I had to take.
And we're going into the second season in Europe. I think not only those incredible European nights, but we were competing on several different fronts as well. We reached the FA Cup semi-final. I think it was 64 games that season in total. So, an incredible effort, and to reach the European final in the fashion that we did as well. Yeah,
and I don't think we had a big squad at that time. I think it was a lot of young players. So to keep going in the games we played and the energy we showed, and in some big games, like you say, we could be playing nearly every 3 days for a couple of months at a time. So we done really well last season, and like I say, it was just disappointing. We lost the final, but leading up to it, we probably shouldn't have even got to the final. People wrote us off, and Middlesbrough will never get to the final. And the teams we beat along the way, how we did it was unbelievable. I mean, like I say, some of the best games I'd played in my career were them European nights, and disappointing. We lost to a really good Seville team. Some of their players went on to play at the highest level and win the lot, Dani Alves and people like that. So we did well. It was definitely not a 4-0 game. We went for it a little bit at the end, but if luck went our way, we could have got a result on the night.
And not only to do it once in the quarter-final against Basel, but to do it twice with Stour as well. It's just astonishing, really, looking back at it.
Well, like I say, we did it once, and everyone was saying that'll never be done again. And within a couple of weeks, it was happening. But I mean, especially that Bucharest game, I remember more. We were gone. We were dead and buried. We lost away, I think 1-0. We were 2-0 down early in the game, and they were a good team. It wasn't if we were playing poor opposition, they were good. But I think we got in. I think we got a goal back just before half time, and the team talk was Steve McCann was like, "Listen, lads, basically there's a final after this. If you want to play in that final, you got to go out and go for it." We let the shackles off a bit, because we were quite, I wouldn't say a defensive team, but we were organised. And at one time, I think we had 5 strikers on the pitch at the end, and I was playing as the full left wing. I think James Morrison had the full right wing, and we went for it, and we got a bit of luck. I think the lad got sent off, did he, late on? But I think you need that to get to a final. You need luck along the way, as well as, like I say, the quality of the players we had were always in a chance of winning the game.
Before that European final, Steve McLaren fielded a team entirely, I think with the exception of Malcolm Christie, made up of academy lads. So that shows as well the incredible impact that yourself and the other academy lads had on that team.
And like you said, not only just academy players, good players. It's already producing numbers. You can produce many numbers you want, but they have to be good enough. And at that time, we had a conveyor belt of players coming through who were all pushing each other. And I think because of the sense that maybe I was one of the first to come through, Stewart Downing, you get a chance if you work hard and you're good enough. I think that kicked everyone on, and it was just, like I said, a conveyor belt. And even that game at Fulham, they should have won. There was a young team, and like you said, Malcolm was probably the oldest, but I've seen the game, and they could have won the game. That against the Premier League opposition. So unbelievable achievement, and I think, if I'm right, all them players that played in that team are all making careers somewhere along the line in the game. So unbelievable really for the club.
And a lot of those players, especially at youth level, reached England honours, and that was something that came for you around that sort of time as well. What are your memories of playing for England?
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, that's what you dream of doing as a kid, to play for England. I didn't think it would come as early as it did. I think that season, like I say, left wing was a bit of a problem for England at the time, getting the balance, and like I say, I come through and done well in them months. So maybe it was, as they say, so-called easy to play because I was left-footed, but I still had to get in the squad. But playing with some unbelievable players, especially in that first time I got picked. The Beckham, Gerrard, Lampard, all them lot. Unbelievable quality for a young lad of my age. It was a great experience for me, and like I say, all good memories that you never forget about. And
just skipping forward a few years now, when you did depart the club, moved on to Aston Villa, I remember you saying at the time, and I think it was to the newspapers, saying that you always had one eye on coming back, even then, and obviously that's something that did happen.
Yeah.
So, what are your memories of making your way back to Middlesbrough?
Well, saying I left on a bit of a sour note, really. Like I say, we got relegated. I got injured on the 2 or 3 games before I think the end, so I couldn't play a part in trying to keep us in the league. You know, it was a really difficult season that season, and to go out like that to leave your hometown club is not something I'd planned. But I always in the back of my mind, if things went right, then I could come back at a point where it'd be a good time to come back. And I think it was good for me to go away to experience different clubs, different cultures, or living in different areas, and I really enjoyed that. But when the time was right that I had an offer to come back, I was thinking 30, 31 at the time. I come off a really good season at West Ham, so the manager who obviously bought me had left. I just thought the time was right to do it, and like I said, to come back and help the club get promoted, which we did.
Yeah, because as you said, the club had unfortunately been relegated as you left, but as you came back, you were coming to a team who just missed out on the playoffs and were pushing very hard for promotion, and obviously that was something we managed to achieve.
Yeah, they were unlucky. Like I said, the Norwich game, I looked and I thought, they've got a good team. They could push again next season. And after speaking to the chairman and his plans of, you've seen the calibre of players he brought in the next season. David Newton, good, obviously good pros and players who have been there and done it and got promoted. So I thought if he can get a few good players in here to add to what they already had, we'll go up. And like I said, I just thought, good challenge, something to, for the club to achieve, and something for me, to get us back in the Premier League. So it was a challenge I had to take on, really.
I think we did have the disappointment of another relegation as well. That one season in the Premier League didn't go to plan, and that was followed by a summer of uncertainty for yourself. But that seems like a long time ago now.
Yeah, it does. That's football, I guess. 1 minute you could be here, 1 minute you could be gone, but obviously it was difficult. New manager coming, I thought I'd be given a chance. Like any other player, really, you're there to impress. That wasn't to be. The manager had other ideas. That's fair enough, but I had a situation myself. Nothing really happened. There was clubs, but them deals weren't done. And like I say, I said to the manager, I'll be staying here for the time being. Like I say, I had a new baby on the way. All that comes into it. So I had a lot to think about, and it was a difficult summer, I'll be honest. Training with the 23s. Like I say, I had to really fight hard there to. I wouldn't say motivate, but like I say, I'm a 33-year-old player. Training with the 23s is difficult. But I thought, I'm going to prove him wrong. Trained, played, and then like I said, the season probably didn't go as well as at the start as it should have, and I was given a chance, and that's all I asked for from the start, really. And like I say, from then on, he played me.
And with a new manager coming in now for the new year, he's already spoken a little of his admiration for you. You managed to, I think, prove the last manager wrong with your performances, and you'd be looking to prove another manager right as well.
Yeah, that's what football's all about. I mean, some players will be happy the manager's gone. Some players will be happy, he didn't. He hasn't gone. So players like that, it's a chance for everyone. Like I say, I always say, if a new manager comes into a club, it's a challenge. You've got to prove this man that you're worthy of your place in the team, and that's what football's all about. Things can change very quickly. Who's to say another manager might come in a couple of seasons time and doesn't fancy me as a player. It's just the way it is. But this manager's been really good. Nearly signed for him a couple of times in the past, so I know what he's about. I know what he expects, and like I say, when he did come through the door, I was quite excited. I'm really confident he can get us promoted. He knows what he wants. He's demanding, but that's what it's about. And to get out of this league, it has to be.
And you're 600 games in, but the ambition is as clear as ever to to get promotion again from this division. Yeah,
to get promoted. I mean, that's what it was the first time around. To get promoted, to stay in the Premier League, to stabilise, and I don't think we've probably got the best person to do that. You look at his track record. You look at especially what he did at Stoke, how he built that club and left it in a really good situation in the Premier League. They're top 10 nearly every season when he was there. So I think we're in good hands. I think he's got enough time. The players know what he wants. We're drilled straight away from day one. And like I said, I think slowly over the course of the season you'll see how we're going to work and how difficult we are to beat.